Our next presenter is really shaking things up in government, and that's hard to do. In fact, our team has been admiring the change coming out of our sister city of Akron for a little while now. Please put your hands together in welcoming James Hardy, which will be presenting Getting Shit Done, Moving from Collaboration to Coordination.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks. How's everybody doing? Good. Well, first of all, before I start, I just want to say it's really a privilege to be a part of this evening with all these wonderful presenters. And if John is still here, it's really exciting to see Cleveland talking about an innovation hub. Bounce Innovation Hub in Akron is under construction. And much like we sent LeBron to the Cavs to win a championship, Akron has your back, Cleveland. So whatever we need to do, we're here to help. So what I have to talk about tonight may or may not piss some people off, but I think that's part of what we're trying to do here, right? Yes. So every time I go to conferences or come to events or talk to somebody who's trying to innovate the next latest and greatest civic tech, this is what I hear from them. Tech can solve 90% of your problems, James. We've got the app. We've got the solution. And yeah, you still might have a little bit of getting your shit done, but we're going to make 90% of what you do that much easier. I'm here to tell you that in reality, that's about what I see Smart City actually innovating for our modern economies and our modern city-states. Whoop. And we still are going to be left with about 90% of getting real shit done on a daily basis. That's my perception. So how are we going to do that? What is our disruptive innovation in cities in Northeast Ohio? How many of us have touted or heard touted at speeches that our community is great at collaborating? Show of hands. I know in Summit County for years we've talked about how much we collaborate. All right, what does that actually mean? Collaboration is the state of having shared interests and efforts. Boy, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? If only we had shared interests and efforts, everything would be fine, right? I can't go to one more meeting, and we've been trying to stop them in Akron, where we talk about collaborating. We're moving to a different conversation now, coordination. What's the difference, right? Well, the dictionary tells us that coordination is the process of organizing people or groups so that they actually work together properly and well. That's a lot better, right, for our cities and for our communities than simply collaborating. So what are we doing in Akron that's potentially innovative around this? Well, we're actually changing our systems. We had a once-in-a-generation change in leadership across the entire community. New mayor, new county executive, new CEOs. There's a brand new chamber executive. And one of the things we're doing is we're not wasting the opportunity. So one of the things that we've started on a couple years ago, is the Akron Civic Commons Project. The Philadelphia Inquirer just recently wrote in its editorial pages that one of the most subversive and innovative things that cities can do is maintain their shit. That is real. That we have neglected our communities for far too long, not just downtown and the neighborhoods, but both. We've neglected both. So how are we doing that? Well, in Akron, instead of the city coming in or just one entity, the Summit County Metro Parks, we've actually formed a collaborative organization that's coordinating real dollars. So we put budget in, they put budget in, they put budget in, and we strategize together on how we're going to improve the civic commons, the parks, the public spaces in our community. And we're seeing incredible results. This is just a picture of our downtown Lock 4 area. There's lots of these types of places in Cleveland, and there's lots of these types of places all around Northeast Ohio. But what I want to talk about, what makes civic commons, I believe, innovative, is that the people who live up and down that area designed that. We funded it with them. We did it across multiple silos, private, public, nonprofit, and we continue to do it. in Summit Lake, one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in Akron. We are transforming what has really been a forgotten community for the better part of the last 30 years. But we're not coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do. We've forgotten about you. Here's $12 million. We've spent the last 3 years working with the residents at Summit Lake to prototype what they want to see in their neighborhood. And I'm happy to say now we're spending those millions of dollars to actually implement what they themselves have designed. One of the other areas that we've talked about, and we've heard about it tonight, is what are we going to do about our economic development ecosystem in Northeast Ohio? Well, in Akron, we're trying to turn it completely on its head. We have new leadership at the Akron Chamber, and as I said before, maybe, we have new leadership at the city and the county. These entities, I venture to say in Cleveland as well, you know, they have something to do with economic development. How well do they work together? Well, in Akron, we've seized the opportunity. We just completed the first ever joint strategic planning effort across these 3 entities to create one economic development plan that deduplicates, that strategizes how we're going to deploy our funds so that nobody spends money that somebody else is spending. And we're reorganizing ourselves to focus on local growth, innovation, entrepreneurship, and an inclusive economy. It's going to take time. I'm not here to tell you that we've got the answer, but it's been remarkable over the last 3 years, the amount of change that's happened when there's new leadership that's willing to say, look, we don't have the answers, but let's find them together. But more importantly, I'm willing to coordinate my budget with you. I can talk about Bounce, which I've already talked about. I can talk about United Way of Summit County and their big, bold goals. Those 4 goals now completely change the trajectory of how we fund nonprofits in Summit County. My mayor is now a mayor for financial empowerment. We opened the first financial empowerment center in the city of Akron based upon the partnership with United Way. We would have never been able to do that without them. So I put this quote up there because I don't make things really cool with tech. I can barely use my cell phone. But what I'm trying to tell to you, my pitch, is that the disruptive innovation that needs to take place in cities in Northeast Ohio is common sense. It's already before us. It's as simple as checking one's ego at the door, figuring out that we're not going to solve infant mortality with an app. We're not going to solve economic despair with some sort of innovation that's going to come out of anywhere but the systems that created it. We have to change the systems radically if you're going to see the kind of change and innovation you wish to see across a wide range of community issues. And my final piece, which breeds off of what I said at the beginning, I think we start by breaking down this ridiculous notion that Akron, Cleveland, and Youngstown, and everyone in between are 3 separate entities on their own trying to do their own thing. No one else does this but us. We've got to get over this incredible generational bull that says that whatever happens in Cleveland can't happen in Akron, and whatever happens in Akron can't happen in Cleveland, and oh, by the way, at least we're not Youngstown. That's never, ever going to build this region. We are in it together. And so my pitch is, we've seen a lot of great apps today, that's wonderful. But in the civic space, nothing replaces systemic change that's aligned, that's coordinated, and that's focused on real people solving real problems. It's going to take a village. That's cliche, but it's true. And then beyond that, let us get over this stuff that I never grew up with and I don't believe in, that says that Akron can't be a part of Cleveland, and Cleveland can't be a part of Akron, and Youngstown can't be a part of a wider region that sees success. There really is no other way. So I appreciate you giving me the time tonight.